This was found alongside some old tools, but it doesn't seem to attach to anything. The two handles are made of wood with brass at each end. They rotate, and two small bars at the bottom can be pulled up to lock it in place, unraveling two fabric straps. I'm stumped. My granddad, who was a stonemason, has no idea what it is either, so maybe it's not even related to tools. I've tried searching for a photo of it on Google, but nothing comes up. I'm not sure of its age, but it looks and feels quite old. Anyone know what this is? It's for carrying books. A friend bought this for $10 at an estate sale, along with a bunch of assorted electronics and technology from the 1950s to the 1990s. However, we're stumped by this one. It's a medium, large round metal sphere, painted with wires, metal tubing, and several fittings, all held in place on some sort of assembly. My guess is that it could be a gyroscope of some kind, possibly for an inertial navigation system in something like a rocket, missile, or airplane, but I'm not sure. Does anyone know what this might be or where it could have come from? It looks very similar to a liquid oxygen system used in military airplanes. Liquid oxygen is a highly efficient way to store and deliver oxygen. This method allows a large amount of oxygen to be stored in a compact converter, saving both space and weight on the aircraft. Additionally, the ability to store larger quantities of oxygen means that operators don't need to refill it between flights, reducing downtime and maintaining mission tempo. As a result, operators can fly longer and take on more missions using liquid oxygen. This item came in an auction lot alongside a variety of unrelated objects. Made of wood and about the length of a hand, it has a concave center with grooves around it. It sits flat on a surface, with one end of the bottom half rounded and the other flat. Our guess is that it might be related to an oil bowl or some sort of fragrance holder. Alternatively, it could be a holy water holder, possibly used in Catholic churches. Any idea what it could be? This is a yoni base. The hole, depression, would be where you could set a lingam stone, which would represent the Hindu god, Shiva. Yoni, sometimes called Pindika, is an abstract or aniconic representation of the Hindu goddess Shakti. It is usually shown with linga, its masculine counterpart. Together, they symbolize the merging of microcosmos and macrocosmos, the divine eternal process of creation and regeneration, and the union of the feminine and the masculine that recreates all of existence. The yoni is conceptualized as nature's gateway of all births, particularly in the esoteric Kaula and Tantra practices, as well as the Shaktism and Shaivism traditions of Hinduism. I ordered Christmas tree light bulbs from Amazon, but received this instead. I'm not sure if it's related to lighting or if it's just a random item. There are no markings on it. It's mostly metal, smaller than my hand, and features a bell-shaped metal piece on top, with a smaller metal disc underneath that has holes in it. In the middle, there's a plunger topped with a round black plastic piece, which moves up and down through a hole in the bell. The plunger is attached to a hinged metal post connected to the smaller disc. It's new as it came from Amazon, but I couldn't find the listing. The design reminds me of the plunger and lid of a French press. It seems small, but that's my best guess. Any ideas what this thing is? It's the top of a tea infuser. It has a glass carafe that the larger disc fits on, and a small metal basket that the smaller disc locks onto. The handle pulls the basket out of the water when the tea is done brewing, and folds down to lock the basket in the raised position. I found a small, round brass object lying on the floor of a farmyard in Essex, England. It looks like it's been snapped off from something at one end. The text on the back appears to say WUSL and 140739C11, but I could be mistaken. It's about the size of a 2-pence coin and has some ornate detailing on one side, with possible maker's marks on the other. Clearly it was once part of something bigger, as the top end is visibly broken. I'm really stumped on this one. No idea how old it is or what it was used for. Any ideas? It's a drawer handle pull. This silver serving piece is mostly round, with drainage holes and a turned-up edge on the right side at about a 45-degree angle. It measures around 3 inches in diameter. While I know it's a silver serving piece, I'm unsure of its specific purpose. The design doesn't seem suitable for serving jelly, as it's too large, flat, and perforated. The lip on the right side makes me wonder if it's meant for a specific motion, perhaps for lifting or serving something from right to left. Does anyone have any ideas on what foodstuff it might be designed for? Originally designed for serving slices of tomato, whether fried or fresh, at the table, this piece later became popular for serving jellied cranberry sauce as it gained prominence. While it's a piece of silverware or servingware that most tables could do without, it certainly adds a nice touch to any dining setting. My father found this mechanism outside his high school during a major cleanup in the summer, sometime around 1974 to 1977. It was a small school in rural Ohio, with no advanced tech at the time. As an engineer, he kept it with him, asking fellow engineers for their opinions, but no one could identify it. It's an incredibly well-made device, with almost zero play in the gears. Even the guide pulleys have no wobble. Weighing just under 500 grams, it has brass and aluminum parts with an anodized steel case. The pulleys take thin flat belts, possibly 3 millimeters wide, and there are 3 smaller pulleys for rope or cable. Despite being easy to disassemble, I hesitate to tamper with it due to its flawless construction and lack of hidden springs or linkages. Any ideas what this thing is? It looks very much like the joint from a remote manipulator, with pulleys driven by stainless steel tapes. There's also a small pulley behind the final drive shaft, which would feed the tape through the shaft to operate the grip mechanism. I have no idea why a remote manipulator would have been at my father's high school. Perhaps that's why it was thrown out. Maybe one of the teachers acquired old surplus materials, took what was useful and scrapped the rest. It isn't heavy, and it's made of solid wood. It doesn't make any noise, and the teeth don't chomp. The jaws move much like a drawer rail, smoothly in and out, stopping at a certain point, possibly blocked by dowel rods. The piece looks well used, as the coloring has worn down significantly. There appears to be a signature on the bottom, though it's too faded to read. It's difficult to understand how the mechanism is constructed, as there are no holes on the back or sides. Does anyone know what it is? This object was discovered in a centuries-old farmhouse in Virginia, likely once a tobacco farm. It's a round lead ball with an iron spindle at the center, cast around a wooden core and fitted with balancing weights. Measuring 3 inches in diameter and weighing about 1 pound, it doesn't spin like a top. After checking with local police, we confirmed it's not ordnance. The local antique shop couldn't identify it either. The points at both ends are made of iron or steel, seemingly connecting tip to tip, adding to its mysterious nature. Does anyone know what it is?